Make sure to check out G2A. They have really cheap PC games, Xbox Live codes, and a whole bunch more. Link in the description below. Yo, what's up guys, it's XRAYZ. Welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies video here. So, yesterday's video did really well. I wanted to thank you guys so much for that because we got a lot of likes, like a lot of support, a lot of views yesterday on the video, which I was completely surprised, where we talk about new stuff that we learned in the Zombie Chronicles storyline poster that we got. It's like a really special big thing. And well, today I wanted to follow up on that. Yesterday we covered the main storyline, which covered from World at War all the way through Black Ops 2's Buried. And now we're going to be specifically talking about Mob of the Dead because it's one of my favorite storylines ever. I love the map. And there was a lot of things here and there that we wanted to learn about, including why did they go get the blood vial. So now we have even more information on that. Obviously, we had a little bit of an idea. They needed it as a backup resort type thing, which ended up getting the OG crew or Primus pretty much destroyed by Dr. Monty because he saw that they drank the blood vials. But anyways, you wanted to learn a little more about that because there was even a special lab that was built under Mob of the Dead, which is crazy. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the story. If you guys do enjoy the video, once again, make sure you guys drop a like and a favorite on the video. It does about, it is appreciated. And if you are new, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications. It does about a lot, guys. So make sure you guys continue to support the videos. But let's go ahead and jump into it. I want to really quickly give a shout out to the guys who pretty much pieced together all of the text that we got within that poster. And you guys can check out the link in the description below to check this out. But all these guys put a lot of effort into it, so huge thank you to them. But basically, let's go ahead and go through the history. So, July 18th, 1922, Salvatore Sal DeLuca opens gambling houses across Chicago. This marks the beginning of the DeLuca crime family. Billy Handsome joins the DeLuca crime family as a hitman. Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had, and that was on February 17th, 1923. Fast forward, September 18th, 1923. An expert in gambling and rigging sports, Michael Finn O'Leary begins working for Sal. March 23rd, 1924, Finn marries Angelina Bow, an aspiring starlet with delusions of grandeur. March 1st, 1929, Sal writes of his frustration with Chicago's finest. After many years of successful bribes with the city, it becomes clear that that is no longer an option. May 11th, 1930, Sal begins to work with Albert Arlington, an associate in Los Angeles known for being a master schemer and bank robber. October 10th, 1930, Finn informs his lawyer that he will not accept divorce from Angelina, saying she can leave this marriage the day that she leaves this earth. So it looks like they were getting divorced, and let's not forget, she's also the one who's going to screw him later on, and we'll read about that as well. So October 11th, 1931, after an LA heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. While in the hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars for publication as a comic strip. It is his third attempt. It is denied as well. So we actually did see this as well in Mob of the Dead, the little scraps of paper. November 11th, 1931, angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal kills a prostitute. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. December 1st, 1931, in an operation against the DeLuca family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. December 19th, 1931, in an operation against the DeLuca family, Finn is arrested by the Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. So you should have just signed the papers, Finn. You got screwed. January 19th, 1932, Al is arrested for his role in the LA heist. After that, Sal is found guilty for murder and is sentenced to life in prison in Alcatraz. Billy is found guilty of 116 counts of murder and is sentenced to life in prison. I kind of wish they had done 115 counts of murder. That would be pretty hilarious. May 30, 1932, Finn is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud. He will serve his sentence in Alcatraz. June 13th, 1932, Sal and Billy arrive at Alcatraz Island, followed by Finn. And then finally, Al is found guilty of grand larceny, grand theft auto, conspiracy, and battery, and he will serve his sentence at Alcatraz as well. Finally, on August 3rd, Al arrives at Alcatraz, so all four of our crew from Mob of the Dead are together on August 3rd, 1932. After that, on January 1933, Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz Island. On April 1st, Al convinces Sal, Finn, and Billy that they can build a plane to try and escape Alcatraz. Realizing that the plane will never be completed and embittered with rage, Sal, Finn, and Billy plot to get revenge on Al. December 31st, 1933, Finn, Sal, and Billy lure Al to the roof and kill him. January 11th, 1934, stepping through a rift Richtofen secures the blood samples of Sal and Finn. So this one we're going to come back to. Just keep in mind that it was at around this time point in the timeline that Richtofen came out of nowhere, showed up, and absolutely took that blood. So now we know that he did take it from them, and it happened at around this time. So he took it from Sal and Finn on January 11th, 1934. Found guilty of Al's murder, Sal, Finn, and Billy are all executed by electric chair. Following that event, Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of the undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. April 16th, 1940, so this is around 6 years after the events of Mob of the Dead, Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63, where he contacts members of the Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory facility beneath Alcatraz. So fast forward years after Mob of the Dead happened, they actually ended up building a lab under Mob of the Dead. I wish, you know what, I want a mapper to do that. I want a mapper to do a Mob of the Dead facility under the Mob of the Dead Alcatraz facility, man. I would love to see that. Fast forward, Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of Alcatraz Island. On July 3rd, 1941, Stanley Ferguson reports that the laboratory has been completed and that the subjects will be placed in the stasis chambers upon arrival. Now, this one's pretty interesting because we learn a little bit more further on who it might be, and it could be a couple of people. It could be the crew that we know from Black Ops 3, the OG crew, the older crew, or Ultimates, and when they were inside their pods, or it could be something else, and we'll talk about that as well. So just keep that in mind. Stanley Ferguson said, yo, this facility's done, and once the subjects are here, we're going to place them into the chambers, so the cryostasis chambers. Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz, where he meets Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Chronorium. Upon reading the Chronorium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns about the blood vials. He would later write on the page, "I know what I must do, Edward Richtofen 4741. Richtofen enters the rift to acquire the blood of Sal and Finn. So before we saw that, you know, while this is going on, after they killed Al, Richtofen shows up out of nowhere and takes their blood, and then fast forward, he was actually from the future and went back in time. So he went back in time to that moment where they, you know, had just killed Al, took their blood, and then came back here. So after recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus, he returns. Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. So this leads me to believe, when he says you have to place on ice, that they are the ones who were placed in these cryostasis chambers under Alcatraz, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Can you believe that? Victus, the buried crew, the transit crew, whatever way you call them, were in cryostasis under Alcatraz. At least this is what I believe, because he says that Victus was placed on ice until they would be needed next, which is very, very cool. And this is actually also leading back to the video I did yesterday, where I talked about how the buried crew survived when Maxis destroyed the Earth because they went through a rift that Richtofen was able to provide for them, Primus Richtofen, and basically they survived and they started working for him after that. You can read about that in the comics. But at this point, they show up back to Alcatraz with Richtofen, and he pretty much puts them on stasis after they do what he needs them to do. July 4th, 1941, Primus arrives to collect the Victus blood samples from Richtofen. Following Primus's departure, Richtofen learns of the location of the summoning key and travels to his next destination. And then finally, the last bit here, Stanley Ferguson leaves employment at Alcatraz on October 1st, 1943, and that is pretty much it with this information on Mob of the Dead. After that, we do know that they drank the blood vials in order to be able to, you know, get the reality of different dimensions, and in order to be able to survive the Shadow Man and also Dr. Monty, but that didn't quite work anyways because they were sent back to some other area, everyone assuming that it was after the Great War between the Apothicon and the Keepers. So we'll definitely see, but that is the complete storyline information on Mob of the Dead. What did you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought, but I think it's pretty cool. We learned about Stanley, we learned when he left, we learned when Richtofen showed up for the blood samples, he went back in time after building a facility underneath Alcatraz after everything that had happened, and then also the transit crew showed up with their own blood vials, they gave it to him, and then they were placed in cryostasis until the next time that they would be needed, which is pretty crazy because at this point, following this storyline, it does look like the buried crew is still under the Alcatraz facility. So we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see what happens with that, whether there's more in the comics or whether there was already more in the comics. I don't know because I haven't read them. But going from the storyline that we have here, it does look like they're still there waiting. Maybe we'll see them in World War II, or maybe we'll see them in Black Ops 4. We don't know, but Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, once again guys, drop a like, drop a favorite on the video. It does help out. It is appreciated. And if you are new, make sure that you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next upload. Follow me on Twitter, best place to talk. Check out my gaming channel if you guys want to, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.